No, yeah, she only gets. Oh my
6.
god!
That
What
was
the heck?
6. I was counting.
Wow.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. This is Lil, and today I am joined with good friend of the channel, Nubs from Nub Raids. How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's good. Yeah, I'm delighted to be on this video. You're like, Nub, you want to jump on? Check out my cool mythical champion. By the way, I've got a second mythical. You're just rubbing it in.
I'm sorry, man, but I did see your video the other day when you were sitting on so many mythical books that when we were talking
yeah.
about things to talk about, I wanted to do a spotlight on Gharol anyway, and I thought you might enjoy driving a mythical champ, even if it was just in a collab.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I'm excited to see what she can do, especially with this build. So yeah.
Yeah, have you? Yeah, I guess I was going to say, have you used her? But I guess, lots of your clanmates are
Um,
using her in Hydra, or
yeah, well, I've obviously fought her many times in live arena now. I've seen a lot of runs with her in Hydra. I don't think I played with her. I'm trying to remember. It's actually a good question because back when they obviously released the Mythicals, we would have had access to them on the test server. It's actually a misconception we get sometimes. People think we've got everything on the test server. They actually copy over our accounts like fresh every time. So it's just based off of your like current account like at that moment in time. So it's only the champions you have, and then they give you the new ones. So maybe I
right?
did play with her a bit when it first came out. But I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if I did. Like I was sort of demotivated at the start to do mythical champion showcases because people didn't have them.
Yeah,
Whereas I feel like now in the last couple of months, like this has sort of reached the point where it feels like everyone except me has at least one at this point.
I'm sorry, man. One of my clanmates, and I need to give him a shout out, is JP1225. He's on the raid leaderboards with his Gharol team. I think he's the highest non-trunder. I can't remember. I think he's number 4 on total Hydra damage. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Okay,
That's all good.
so in terms of kit, now I don't know about you. She's one of those mythicals where only one form is useful, and I don't know that
Yeah.
anyone's found a good use for the second, or in this case, the first form.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I think the best use for the first form, honestly, is it's lockout protection, right? You go into a fight in arena. If they go first and they lock you out, you go, hey, cool. I didn't want to use this form anyway. Swap form, and my skills are off cooldown for form 2. And
Yeah,
that's the main purpose. Funny
yeah,
enough. Yeah.
and I'll be honest, that's also kind of my frustration with the mythicals is they're really
Hmm.
reluctant to change forms. Like they will sit there in form 1. Like even when they've
Yeah.
run out of skills, they some of them don't seem to switch. Like if I ever throw her into a Cursed City stage, she just carries on, ally protecting and placing unkillable and provoke.
Yep. Yeah. Their AI is very strange. I have no idea what the coding is, but yeah, I've noticed it before. Like even doing a Hydra run, I can't remember who it was, threw in a mythical, and they just sat in form 1 for like about, 20 minutes. And then randomly 20 minutes in, they're like, nope, now for some unforeseen reason, this is the perfect time to transform. And you're going like, why? I
Yeah,
don't get it.
yeah,
Why? So
yeah,
yeah, you need to set the presets up to force them really,
yeah,
or play
yeah.
manual. Hmm.
I guess I'd have to say, like, I feel like for me, the biggest sort of fix that I would like, or change that I'd love to see on Mythicals is I feel like they need a
Hmm.
converter on the main stat. Like Mithrala with the turning accuracy into resist. It'd just be
Mm-hmm.
great, if you had a HP in one form and attack champ in the other, just take that main stat and just convert it. Like, I'm even fine with just leave the crit rate, crit damage, but, like a HP champ with, like I've got her built as a damage dealer, she's got like no health. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
In Form 1, she's got 46,000 HP, which is not great for an ally protector.
No, certainly not. No. Yeah, it's a good point. They've definitely done it a bit better, haven't they? I think with the more recent mythics, they tend to have more overlap. And like you're like, yeah, I actually like Star Sage Galathier. You're like, yeah, okay, I'll use both of his forms, and there is like a bit of stat conversion there. They
Yeah,
work quite
yeah,
well. And then, as you said, you've got some like Gharol, where it's like, I only really care about the second form, and the first form is it's mostly just there. It's there to be a little bit tankier for the first hit in arena and to protect you from lockout. And yeah, there's just not much use for them aside from that. And it's probably
Yeah.
not worth those bucks either. Yeah.
No, exactly, and that's why, yeah, she's totally unbooked on this form. Like a good example of that is Arbeus is great in both forms and needs similar stats in both forms. I would say Form 1's more accuracy plus speed, and then Form 2 is more, tanky protection.
Yeah, our base was my favorite from the initial 5 mythicals.
Yeah.
Just because I thought it's a well-designed champion. You swap between both forms, it works well, it synergizes. I thought she was the most holistically designed one.
Yeah.
But Gharol's probably the most powerful one, I guess.
I've been enjoying Arbeus ever since our mans came out, actually, because I've been using her as turn meter and accuracy boost into into sheeps and stuns. So that's been quite fun. But we're talking about Gharol, so we care about her form too. We don't care about all the ally protect nonsense that she's got going on, which is pretty mediocre. She's got a really big hit on the A2, which damage increases by the number of buffs. She ignores 30% defense. And then the A1 has a 20% chance of repeating attack. And you asked me this the other day, how many times can it go off? I saw it go off 6 times in a row in a Hydra fight the other day. So it's just back to back. She's just slamming. And spoiler alert for when we get into Hydra, she gets fitted every time she slams. And if you've got a Shamail on the team, that's more turn meter. So yeah, she's pretty nuts. The second part of her passive here, she increases her damage depending on how much HP she's lost, which is meant to tie in with her unkillable in Form 1. The problem is it drops off. Like, you put the unkillable up for 2 turns, you switch forms, it's up for 1 turn, and then you get your next turn and it's gone. So it feels like it doesn't last very long. She's got some sort of counter synergy in there.
It's a bit awkward.
Yeah, but then it's all about this 25% chance to team up with an ally and join their attack, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts.
So I originally just built her in lethal, and then they did the next Slayer pass, and I managed to get some half decent 9-piece Slayer for her. She's absolutely in an accuracy banner because it's all I got. At some point, I'll have enough dust to re-roll this to get attack on it.
She scales particularly well with the ignore defense stat. Obviously, that's the most powerful for really any damage dealer for Hydra. But she already has the ignore defense on her A2, so that scales really, really strongly. And you've got her in Slayer, it's the 30%, or you could have Cruel plus Lethal or Savage, which is 30% ignore defense as well. So every little bit of ignore defense, that's how people put up absolutely crazy numbers as well in Hydra Clash. If you're looking at leaderboards, that can be a deceptive thing, right? There can be that hidden. You might be coming in as a fresh player with 0 ignore defense. You've got Lil now. You've got 16%.
I know. I just bumped it up. Sorry, man.
I'm just going to move you across a little bit. Ooh,
there you go.
Yeah. That's nice. It's a surprising amount of damage. I think that the best illustration of how powerful ignore defense is when you go into a typical arena fight. If Harima is there with her passive that reduces ignore defense by half, she basically makes enemy champions do 1/3 of their normal damage. The damage is absolutely massively affected by ignore defense.
Not a fan of seeing her on the enemy team whenever I've got my Rotus.
No, good luck.
I'm the UD.
Yeah, she makes his A3 unusable, basically. It's very funny.
The ultimate Death Knight, I'm I can wait it out. Eventually he'll get block revive as long as I can kill the UDK and stay alive that long. But the Harima, that passive isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Rotus is just there. He's I'm just a battery for her A2 to proc on kill effect. Let's go.
Right, so we've got her in a damage build. I'll be honest, the main uses that I'm using her for, and when I pulled her, I was I'd mainly been ignoring mythicals because I'm like, it's going to take so long for me to get one of these. I just don't really care.
Mm.
And so I had no idea if she was good or not, and I had to sort of message people and say, I just pulled this. Is it good? And they were like, did you do it on camera? I was like, no, of course not. Of course not. Okay,
Yeah, like
let's take her for a spin. This is my normal team. My Duchess, my Taras, and then the couple. That's my normal sort of farm team.
mm,
I have used her in a couple of no, actually, only this team. Arbiter, Armand's, Gharol, her. I don't know. Where else could we put her? We could always just put her in here in place of Taras.
yeah, she goes fairly well. Like she goes well with the Duchess as well, right?
Yeah.
Because Duchess gives her the increased attack, so that's not too bad. You could probably get her in as well if you wanted with our base. Really make people mad, have the double mythical team. That's always possible. Scary
I think
defense
I
to
did
set.
have her. I thought she was in this last team, if I'm honest with you. In fact,
Yeah, yeah.
let's do that, shall we?
She'd fit, yeah, very well there. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and like Duchess and our base as well both provide quite a few buffs, which is quite nice with her
Yeah.
her A2 hitting harder. So
Just make sure she doesn't go and try and become an allied protector again, because her health is not up to that. Sorry, it's pretty early in the week, so I'm not super high in arena, but we'll pick a few of the tankiest teams that we can. I like, obviously, make sure, guys, that you set your presets on Armand's, because
boom, done, job done.
I did, like,
Pretty.
I was quite surprised, like, with the 9-piece Slayer. Sorry, we didn't go over what 9-piece Slayer has a 30%, I want to say, chance
I
to
think it is.
repeat
Yeah.
AoEs, and all of her skills in her damage form are AoEs, which is why she's particularly good in it. And I watched a video by, and I'm sorry, I think it was Ridiculous Raid. It was like yesterday, and it was just flagging that, you don't. He was flagging sort of where you see it and how you see it, because actually it's really easy to miss, because it's like it's
Okay.
one of the red numbers and it's totally random. It doesn't match the same damage. It's almost like it does
Oh,
the attack again. But you could do, like, in his example, he was showing it in Hydra, and it could be like
yeah.
a 2 million hit, but then the Slayer proc is 1 million on all the heads for some unknown reason. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't see it there, but
No,
yeah,
and
like
it's
maybe it
it's
doesn't.
because it's in those red numbers. I'll
Mm.
link his video. It was really interesting. So here we go. This is like those
Oh,
30k. Just I'm joining in attacks.
that's so strong. Yeah, I mean that's one of the scariest things about her is like even when let's say you've got some good turn meter control, like if they have even one fast champion on their team that can take turns, like she can just keep going and keep pumping out A1s that can rip your team apart. Even if she never gets a turn, like, she could be
Yeah,
sat there no
exactly.
turn. It's kind of gross.
It's also where, like, actually the fast Armands and the fast Arbeus, like, they keep
Yeah.
taking turns, and then she keeps taking turns. When I'm in Hydra, I'm like, but the AoEs are so good. I could, I could have her in, like, a provoke set or a cursed set, and it's like, no.
Mm.
Slayer is just so strong. So Hydra, obviously, I went in and took a look at, okay, what's my best sort of nightmare team looking like now, according to the optimizer. And so I've got a screenshot on the screen, Nubs, of the team,
Hmm.
which was that somebody else had done, and it was full manual, and it was a 2.5 hour run with Gharol, Newt, sorry, Archer,
Mm.
Padraig, Ugo, and Shamel. And so I
Hmm.
was like, okay, like that looks good. I mean, I've got to be honest, the speeds on here are pretty crazy. He's got a 348 speed Padraig. He's got a 320
Yeah.
speed Ugo. So his
Okay.
Newt is 270, which mine certainly isn't.
Mm.
So I was like, okay. The problem is that the team is a manual team. And everyone knows that I'm lazy when it comes to Hydra, and I'm totally unwilling to manual, even for a better clash score. So I ran that team a couple of times, and I've got to be honest, like we could run it because everybody dies in literally 5 minutes.
Oh wow.
She just, I don't know,
That's funny.
just gets nuked down. So I was like, I need to switch, I need to mix this team up so that we can bring, so that I can bring a reviver in.
Hmm.
So this is the team that I settled on. I switched out the Ugo for an Uko so that we got a revive and we got the decrease attack. And then I switched the Newt out for a Lydia for the drop defense and weaken.
Mm.
I guess there's a couple of other options that I thought about in that spot, and I ran a couple of tests and it wasn't as effective. The Sisia for the decreased defense and weaken and some HP burns because we haven't got any of that in here.
Yeah.
And the other option was one of my Missionakis. Again, he brings that decreased defense, but not the weaken. He does bring the decrease attack, but actually we got that from Uko now because I needed a reviver. I ran it a few times with the team in the optimizer, and like I say, all it took, like I think 10 minutes was the longest any of the runs lasted before somebody got dead.
Okay.
And at that point, it's game over. So I just went, okay, look, I'm not going to hit 500 million, maybe, because I'm not willing to manual. Is there anything that you'd change up here?
What with the original one you had, which was with the Lydia,
let me pop that in.
you don't have her yet, but when you get your perhaps third mythical, Lady Mikage,
Yeah.
I'd say she would fit this team better than Podrick would, and you could use the Podrick then for another team. But that'd be pretty strong, right? Because Podrick can be an increased speed champ for another team. I don't know if you need that exactly.
As the last time we spoke, it was about Hydra, and increased speed, decreased speed was the bane of my account. So this team actually has 3 different increased speed champs in it. But that's probably almost all of the ones I have, apart from Shamrock.
But I would say Lady Mikage would be sort of the ideal one to put in instead, because she brings you a more consistent increased attack than Podrick does. So that's going to up the Gharol's damage. She's got the buff extension and the debuff, all the buff manipulation too, which is strong.
Of course, I always forget that she's got the extension.
Yeah, her A2 is crazy. Like it's kind of a sleeper move, but it's so good for Hydra in particular.
Yeah, I wonder if at that point the Missionaki in here becomes even more attractive, if we use Arbeus as a sub for Mikage.
I would say though Mikage is definitely the ideal companion for Gharol, because again, remember Gharol is also scaling off of buffs, and Mikage is extending buffs, so she's going to up the A2 damage. Mikages are typically fast and attacking every turn, so that's extra chances for the attack. So that's a beautiful thing. Podrick is a pretty darn good close second for a sub though, when you don't have the Mikage, like the ally attack difference. So not having that blessing, that hurts for sure in terms of keeping her alive. Which, like, is she the one that died, or just everybody died?
I think it was her, because as soon as there's like a reflect damage up, or there's a wrath with increased attack, that's it. Her and Shamail are just gone. Like they're eating floor at that point.
Yeah, like often on these manual runs, if there's a Lydia in there, right, the Lydia can block buffs on one of those heads that can reflect and save your ass, but it doesn't work so well on auto, eh?
and I ran this on manual the first time I ran it, because I was like, I'm just going to play it and see what I can get to. And I was chatting to you at the time, and then I had to go and do the kids' bath because it just ended up taking way longer than I thought it was going to. So I was like, right, I'll just leave it paused like on my phone, and then I came back and it had closed down, and I was like, there's obviously like a time limit on how long you can just leave it sat there paused, for a couple of hours. And it was just gone when I came back to it, and I was like, no. It was a good run, but hey ho. So that's when I reran it on auto and got like 350. So just in terms of setups and forms, so I've got Gharol never going back after she metamorphs. I've got Archer prioritizing the slow because actually she gets around to her provoke fast enough. She's at 250 speed with some damage. I've got some counter synergy here because Padraig brings the increased accuracy on his passive for support champs, and Archer's unique buff, because I'm using her as a mischief tank, is the increased accuracy. So there's a tiny bit of inconsistency sort of baked in there. Lydia, as normal, it's just my Lydia for farming Spider. Padraig is in Relentless, so some of my faster Relentless gear. So and Uko is in Provoke, and that's it. And I rebuilt this Shamel since I recorded the video. I just redid his build because he was like 4.5k attack or something.
Nice. You know what I just thought about, actually?
Yeah.
Literally while we were looking at those, because remember, I think we were talking about this before as well, but it's these ally attack champions being in, like, let's say 4-piece reflex plus the 4-piece merciless for the cooldown reduction. I actually wonder with Gharol, because she's doing all these extra ally attacks, she's actually going to scale really well with 4-piece merciless too. I wonder if people might run that. I'm actually not sure. Do you know? I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to, after we spoke, I was like, okay, can I get Padraig in 4-piece merciless and relentless? Because that would be, you know, then he's taking the extra turns, but also when he's doing the ally attack, he's got a chance to reset his own cooldowns. I didn't have a single accessory. So no, I didn't manage that. But yeah, it's a good, and I mean, I guess the extra turn, if you manage to get 9-piece, would also be super powerful for her.
Yeah, it could be. It could be, yeah. Especially if you got buff extenders, you wouldn't outrun the buff. I'm just looking at the top team with Gharol.
Yeah,
and it's got a Krisk and Lady Mikage, right? So we've got 2 buff extenders. So even if you got an extra turn, she's not outrunning anything.
Yeah. Let me...
Yeah.
I'll just have a look what that team that did super high damage was wearing. Yeah, so they were in Lethal and 2-piece Merciless, and it looks like 1-piece Slayer.
Okay. Yeah. So nothing's... Like, your set's better than that for sure.
Actually, looking at it, they're only on... Well, I guess it's hard to say, because it says 5.1k attack, but I presume that that's base form when it shows it in the...
Oh, yeah, probably. Because it's pretty low, you would think, for your mythical. You'd really have them in better than that, I'd say, if you're late game and putting up crazy numbers like that.
Right, so what I thought we'd do is do a quick run of this, and then I'll show some screenshots of where I sort of got to from damage perspective. I really like the synergy, the Shamail plus the Lydia plus the Gharol. If Torment keeps coming out, just like the Energizer Bunny, just keeps going and going.
Yeah, let's do it.
And yeah, after you suggested, I did sort of slow it down and watch it running through. I'll put this head over here, and yeah, like when she does, we might see it now. When she gets multiple attacks, she does get multiple turn meters from the Shamel.
Yeah, interesting.
So again, the 9-piece Slayer, it's repeating those AoEs, but it's also giving her turn meter for every AoE. I can't remember what it is. Is it 5% per enemy hit? So that'd be 5, 10, 15, 20% turn meter.
20% there. That's nuts.
and then she gets from the Shamail, and she's almost at full turn meter again.
Yeah, like, definitely. Like, she's actually... There's going to be no way to keep increased attack on her at all with this. Like, she's going to outrun everything. Obviously. Obviously Mikage is going to help a bit, but even with the Mikage, my god, she's getting so much turn meter. Like, it's not getting anywhere close to full uptime, that's for sure. That's funny.
Yeah, like, you know, it is quite a fun team to watch. You know, I joke about never running it manual, and I don't, but it is quite fun to watch. Just the amount of turns that they get in, that she gets in especially, is it's crazy. It is fun to watch. It's just, you know, especially because she's getting all those ally attacks in. you know, on her passive, that's 20% turn meter every time she does it.
Yeah.
A good question is when she hit. I don't think when she hits multiple times she gets the multiple turn meter, but maybe she did. Maybe I should slow it down and watch a bit closer. Let's have a look. And she only got one. She only got one attack. She's not helping us out.
No, yeah, she only gets.
6.
Oh my god!
That
What
was
the heck?
6. I was counting.
Well, I mean, we wanted to see it tested, and she delivered. Holy heck!
I just
Yeah, no, she only got the turn meter once. Wow! Just keep slamming. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's, you know, when it goes. Sorry, I just sort of realised that we were sort of in the way of seeing it going off. That was only
she
only
went a
2
few
or
times
3.
there again as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be really interesting to see. I mean, I probably wouldn't, but it'd be interesting to see her in Cruel. She'd get Cruel stacked up as max as a blessing really quickly with all those AoEs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Cruelty is obviously a great choice for her. Like, I mean, that is something that's worth. No, I'm actually working on like updating the blessings, like on hellhades.com at the moment, and like, yeah, they're not in a great place balance wise. I realized that after putting it on. Like, so many champions are just like, guess we just go Cruelty, right? Everyone's just in Cruelty these days. Yeah, Cruelty obviously is a huge deal for the damage, and then massive damage increase, and this is how people are doing billions with these champs as well, is a Crushing Rend at 6-star. Only at 6-star, of course, is absolutely huge damage. So that's where the crazy Gharols are going to come in with a 6-star Crushing Rend, because again, the Mythical gets so many stats from 6-star, and the damage increase from that ignore defense is just absolutely monstrous. So yeah, like you imagine a Gharol, like I'm looking at the top team in the world, and they've got a Gharol with a 6-star Crushing Rend, and then they've got 3 champions on the team with, actually, sorry, 2 champions with 6-star Cruelty, Mikage and Krisk, and then they've got Lydia with 5-star Cruelty as well. It's multiple Cruelty champions, Gharol and Taras both with 6-star Crushing Rend, and just yeah, the damage is crazy.
Yeah. I can't remember what, and I just looked up while we were on what one of my clanmates had got, JP1225 in Cthulhu. Shout out to Cthulhu. He is on how do we even say 19,064 million. So he's 4th in the leaderboard for Nightmare at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
with
huge
Gharol.
damage.
So yeah, I can't remember. I think he's got a pretty high blessing on her. Yeah.
Yeah, I did try to have a quick look for his team, but I didn't find it quickly on the leaderboard. So rather than keep searching, I thought you had it. So I mean, okay,
I have, and I do actually have. I probably have a thing of his actual team as well, but I can't. I wasn't prepared. So I'm sorry, man.
That's all good. But yeah, she's a beast. Like she's really, really strong for Hydra. There's no question. Like, yeah, she's in the best non-Trunda teams in the world.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, Trunda is like 25. I think maybe even now, maybe 30 times better. Like the Trunda teams just keep getting better.
I mean,
so it's not really any contest, but I prefer Gharol. Oh yeah, that was very close to death right there.
And this is 1 HP. Yeah. The reflect damage is like when I was playing this on manual, like I was targeting the Lydia block buffs to anybody that could place reflect damage. I was more scared of that than any other buff because, you know, when she goes down, that's a massive loss in damage, and you know the Yuko revive is, you know, she just uses it whenever she wants because it's on auto. When I was running it on manual, obviously I just wasn't using it because we already had 2 champs with increased speed.
Yeah. You're actually gaining damage from the 1 reflect, so long as she doesn't die. I've been watching you there. You're at 1 HP. You know, it's pretty sketchy, but
that's true.
You know, as long as you don't die, that's a lot more damage.
Yeah, I did also debate running her with like an unkillable, like an Emic, who can do a cooldown reset plus an unkillable buff, and then you can try and take advantage of some of that. But Okay.
Maybe that could work. I think that would be difficult to
Yeah.
maximize, but possibly.
I do. Yeah, I feel like, this team feels pretty solid. I'll end it there.
Hmm.
And we can take a look at the damage. What I should have done is, oh no, 40 million. That is a wonky on Nightmare
Oh yeah,
because
it is. Yeah.
we're crashing this week. So again, so I can't enjoy my personal best on Hydra. This 40 million I will actually keep because I do need to run my Hydra key and I'm not allowed to go over 40 million. So, but yeah, 17 million from her. She's just the damage in this team. And I'll bring
Yeah.
it up in apologies because you can't see it just because of the issues we were having with Discord. I'll bring it up for the people on watching the video. There we go. So I ran this team on Nightmare full auto because I was so devastated after losing the manual run that I'd set going on my phone, and she was 200 million of the 350 million that it got on Nightmare. It didn't make it to turn count. I think, in fact, I manualed the last sort of 5 minutes of the fight. I just sort of came back to the computer and I was like, oh, it's still going. Okay. So I manualed the last 5 minutes and it was up to, I can't remember what turn count it was at. It was definitely over 250. And it was at that point where people were getting devoured before you could break people out,
Right.
So yeah, there's some room in for some more turns or maybe faster champs in there. But yeah, 350 mil, I was quite happy. I was quite happy with that for full auto. I ran the same team on Brutal and it got about 450, which I was kind of hoping it'd get a bit higher than that on Brutal, but I only ran it one time. It was an hour and 45 minutes, so testing these multiple times was...
Yeah, oh yeah. It's a nightmare. Yeah, no, I know that feeling. Trust me.
Yeah.
God.
And
Hydra
then...
stuff takes so
Yeah,
long.
and then I ran it on hard, and again, an hour 47 minutes, and it was 550 million. So I kind of feel like actually I'd rather take the points in Nightmare. What did we get for Clash points? Almost
So I
1400,
think out of both,
1300.
Brutal's the most, I
Only
think.
just. In fact, the Brutal at 450 million was 1360, and the Nightmare was 1396. So
Oh,
slightly
right.
better
Oh,
on
is that? Oh,
Nightmare.
wow. Fair enough. Sorry, I thought Brutal was going to be more. My bad. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you would have.
Nightmare it
Yeah,
is.
it was like a million extra damage on Brutal, but the points just ended up higher on Nightmare.
Yeah, cool.
That's it, guys. Thanks, Nubs. I hope that wasn't too depressing for you not having your mythical yet.
I know. I'm only memeing when I say that. It's really cool. I actually really enjoy seeing like the mythicals and what they can do because, like, yeah, I mean, they're complicated champions. Not everyone has them, so it's actually really fun to do the deep dives and like see their potential and see Gharol slamming her A1 like 6 times in a row. Like that stuff is kind of like, okay, that's what the mythicals are good for, seeing the craziness or the power
Yeah,
of these champs.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, before that, my highest team was like, I don't know, 200 million, maybe 250. So yeah, like it's a serious power spike. Or maybe it's just a better built team than I had before.
Maybe, oh, Garol's pretty good. I mean, she's in the best team in the world. That non-Trunda team. That says something, doesn't it? So, hey,
Yeah.
congratulations on your pull.
Thank you. And Nubs, thank you for joining us. Sorry, this has actually been really long. I just looked at the recording time.
Oh, really?
So, sorry, we're on 40 minutes talking about Gharol.
Oh, shit.
So, if anyone stuck with us that whole time, thank you. Drop a like and subscribe. Go and check out Nubs' channel. Obviously, drop him a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Nubs, it's great to have you on, man.
Hey, yeah, it's a pleasure as always.
Thanks all. See you in the next one.